Hi, Excel. This is Dee, and this is going to be your natal chart interpretation. Okay, I put Pharaohs up there. Um, I just think you go by Terrence Excel Pharaohs or something, so that's why I just put Pharaohs up there. Okay, so let's get right into your reading or your birth chart interpretation. Okay, so this is your birth chart, and I will send this video to you, so you will see all of the slides that I am looking at right now. Okay, so this is your birth chart. Now, as you can see, and as you know very well know, you are a Gemini. Okay, let me see if I can point. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, so you are a Gemini. So let's find the Gemini right here. You see the sun in Gemini. So you are a Gemini. Wherever the sun is in your birth chart, that's what sign you are. Okay. So you have the sun in Gemini. You also have Mars in Gemini. Okay. You have moon in Taurus. That's what that means. The moon is in Taurus. You have Venus in Taurus also. Okay. Saturn is on that line, it's on a thin line between being in Aries and being in Pisces. But your Saturn is definitely in Pisces, okay? This key, this little symbol here, that represents Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer of the zodiac. Chiron, wherever Chiron is, this is where any wounds that you feel like you need to heal, Chiron is there to help you heal any wounds you have related to your friendships. Okay, let's keep going. I don't want to go over every little thing. Now, this is Neptune. You have your Neptune in Scorpio. Okay, and then you have Pluto. Excuse me. You have Pluto as well as Uranus in Virgo. Okay, so when you look at your natal chart, that's what this means. Oh, I didn't go over the houses. So you have the Sun and Mars in Gemini in your second house. The second house is all about finances, it's about your material possessions. So you have the Sun in Gemini. It's at 23 degrees. You can't see the degrees on here, but you'll see it on the next slide. You have the Sun in Gemini at 23 degrees. Okay, so even though I have it on the screen, when you see me looking over here, I'm looking, at your information over here. So, okay, the Sun in Gemini makes you a multi-talented person. It makes you very adaptable to changes, and it makes you very sociable as well. Okay, the fact that it's in your second house, it gives you the energy to achieve all of your goals. Okay, all of it gives you the financial security that you need, because wherever the sun is, the sun shines light on that area. So the sun is constantly shining light on your material possessions. Okay, so that's really great. It also gives you the energy to achieve all of your goals. So that's really great. Okay, let's look at the moon. You have the moon in Taurus at 10 degrees. Okay, now this gives you the need for stability. Like, you need stability, bottom line. Okay, the fact that it's in your first house, it does make you a very adaptable person. So that's really great. Let's look at Mercury, okay, because Mercury is in Cancer. Let's go over here to Mercury. Okay, Mercury is here in Cancer. Mercury is in Cancer at 13 degrees in your third house, okay? Now, let's look at Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer gives you a great memory, okay? And it gives you a very good imagination as well, Excel. It gives you a great imagination. This gives you the ability to be a great writer. Okay. Now the fact that it's in your third house is great news, because Mercury in the third house, Mercury is at home in house 3. Okay. Now this gives you, this predisposes you to travel a lot. Okay. Um, it predisposes you to communicate a lot as well. So this is a great position to have Mercury in, because it makes you a great speaker. Um, it also makes you a great listener, because remember, Mercury is the ruler of communications. And the fact that it's in your communications house, it's just perfect. It makes you a great communicator. It enables you to travel a lot. Um, Travel that would stress the average person out, it's a piece of cake for you. Okay, so let's keep moving on. Let's see what's going on with Venus. Okay, because Venus is over here in Taurus. You see that? Venus in Taurus in your first house. Now, Venus in Taurus makes you a generous person. Okay, now even though you're a generous person, you don't like to waste money. Okay, and again, it makes you friendly and sociable. So that's really great. Now, the fact that it's in your first house at 16 degrees, this is another thing that helps you to express yourself. Venus in Taurus in the first house, it helps you to express yourself, you know, um, and it makes it easy for you to enjoy yourself. There are some people who they really have trouble relaxing and, chilling out. This makes you able to enjoy yourself. So that's really great. Now let's look at what's going on with Mars, because Mars is over here in the second house with the sun. Mars is in Gemini. Now the energy of Mars in Gemini, you never stop moving. Like you have something going on at all times. Um, you have a lot of different projects and ideas. That's Mars. Remember, Mars is the planet of action, okay? So Mars gives you the ability to constantly be on the go. Okay, now the fact that it's in your second house, um, it gives you the ability to feel good when you have money, but when you don't have money, people better watch out, because it's like it makes you not be in a good mood when you don't have money. Okay. Excuse me. And the fact that you have Mars in your second house, it also gives you the tendency to feel like you are what you have. Okay. So just watch out for that. Now let's look at Jupiter, because you have Jupiter over here with Mercury in Cancer. Now Jupiter is at 8 degrees right here in Cancer. See this? This is Jupiter. Jupiter in Cancer makes people either gravitate towards you or run away from you. Okay? Keep that in mind. Okay. Now, the fact that it's in the third house, it makes you a very optimistic person. Okay? Jupiter in Cancer in the third house, it makes you a very optimistic person. It makes you a very philosophical person as well, and a very spiritual person. Okay, so keep that in mind. Jupiter in Cancer is the part of you where people will either gravitate towards you, or they will just totally run away from you. Okay, let's look at what's going on with Saturn, because Saturn is over here on the borderline between being in Aries and Pisces, but it's in Pisces. You can see that it's in Pisces. So you have Saturn in Pisces, and it is at 29 degrees. Okay, Saturn in Pisces gives you the ability to help people, which is really great. The only thing you need to watch out for is that this position gives you the ability to help people, sometimes at the detriment of ignoring yourself. Okay, so that you need to watch out for that. This position also gives you a scientific mind. Okay, now the fact that it's in your 11th house, this gives you many different friends, but not a lot of close friends, if you get the theory behind that. So you're the type of person, you know a lot of people, and a lot of people call you their friends, but as far as who knows your heart, not a lot of people know your heart. That's Saturn in Pisces for you. Okay. Now let's look at Uranus. Okay, because Uranus is over here with Neptune. In fact, Uranus and Neptune are conjunct exactly. Okay. And remember, Uranus is the planet of surprise. Okay. Now you have Uranus and Pluto in Virgo. Now Uranus is at 15 degrees here in Virgo. Now, the energy of Uranus in Virgo, it makes you a perfectionist. Does that ring a bell? This position makes you a perfectionist. It also makes you like new technologies. Okay. It's almost like the gadget person, like the person who has to have the next new gadget, or the person who comes up with the next new gadget. That's you. That's your Uranus in Virgo. This position also makes you advocate for social justice as well. Okay. Now, the fact that it's in your fifth house, this is the thing that brings excitement to your life. Okay. Because the fifth house is all about fun, romance, kids, and creativity. Okay. So, this position is bringing excitement into your life. Okay. This position attracts new experiences into your life. This position also makes you a very inventive and creative person. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you have invented something before. Okay. Uranus in Virgo. Remember that. Now, let's look at, I'm sorry, I've been saying Neptune. It's Uranus. This is Uranus right here. And this is Pluto. This is Neptune over here. I apologize if I've been saying Uranus and Neptune all this time. It's not. This is over here, this is Uranus and Pluto. They are conjunct exactly. And when I say they are conjunct exactly, they are at the same degrees. Okay? You have Uranus at 15 degrees right here, and you have Pluto at 15 degrees. So they are conjunct, they are at the same position in your fifth house. Since we've been talking about Neptune, let's look at Neptune. Neptune is at 19 degrees. Now, when you were born, Neptune was retrograde, okay? So half the population has Neptune retrograde, okay? So it's not like a really rare occurrence, just to let you know. Now, Neptune, you have Neptune at 19 degrees in Scorpio in your seventh house. That's how you read that. You look at the planet, you look at the house it's in, and you look at the sign it's in. So you have Neptune in Scorpio in your seventh house. Okay. So the energy of Neptune in Scorpio, this gives you the desire to discover things. Okay. It gives you the desire to discover like the secret hidden meaning behind spiritual doctrines. Like, it gives you the ability to go deep into things like that. Okay. um it also gives you occult abilities, meaning that you could be a psychic, you could be a medium, you could, be some type of shaman or witch doctor or something. That's Neptune and Scorpio. Okay. Now, the fact that it's in your seventh house, this makes you very in tune with your partner. Okay. So if you're in a relationship with someone, like, you can read their minds pretty much. That's the type of energy Neptune and Scorpio carries. Okay, so remember that. Let's go back to Pluto. This is Pluto right here. You have Pluto at 15 degrees in Virgo in your fifth house. This makes you a very accurate and methodical person. Okay, maybe I should be looking at the camera. Okay, this makes you a very accurate and methodical person. It also makes you very strict about sticking to the rules. Okay? It makes you a very accurate person, very methodical. You want to stick to the rules. The fact that it's in your fifth house, when you're in a relationship, you will either tend to control your partner or you tend to attract someone who wants to control you. I don't know if you've experienced that in your past relationships, but um, this position can make people gravitate towards you who are bossy. So just watch out for that. Let's keep going on. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, let me see how I can get out of this circle here. Okay, I think that did it. Okay, so we did talk about your natal planets. Your natal planets are a snapshot of where the planets were when you were born. Now, your natal planets are the only thing that is stationary in your chart. Okay, so whatever is going on, let's say tomorrow or whatever, those planets are always moving. Let me go back to the chart to show you. Oh, I don't know if I can go back. Okay, here we go. Let me pull up this uh, chart again. Okay, so this natal, the natal planets in your chart, they never change. Okay, so the planets, the planetary movements that are going on now, they will move around your natal chart, just to let you know. Let's keep going on. Okay, so we talked about the natal planets. And then this is just a recap of everything that we just went over in your natal chart. How you have the sun at 23 degrees in Gemini in house 2 and so on. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, here we go. Now let's look at some other astrological points in your chart. Okay, so you have the North Node at 23 degrees. Now, the North Node is 99% always retrograde, okay, in everybody's chart. Okay, so you have the North Node at 23 degrees in Taurus in your first house. I really want to go back there and show you. Let me just not go back. Okay. All right, so you have the North Node in Taurus. You see this here? I don't know how to bring up back up my clicker. But anyway, if you can see my cursor over here to the left of your screen, this is the symbol for North Node. And you have the North Node in Taurus in your first house. Okay, so just to let you know that. Now let's keep going on. Go to the next slide. Okay, here we go. Back to the North Node. Okay, so you have the North Node at 23 degrees in Taurus in your first house. Now, the energy of the North Node in Taurus, this is an energy where you have to learn to trust and you need to recognize your value. That is your purpose in life. The North Node represents your purpose. Okay, so your purpose, I mean, it sounds very simple, but for a lot of people struggle with identifying with their North Node. So the fact that it's in your first house, this makes you have to develop a balance between giving and receiving. Okay, if you do that, I mean, that's the North Node in Taurus. Okay, let's keep going on. Let's look at your ascendant. Your ascendant is also known as your rising sign. Okay, so your ascendant is in Taurus as well, and it's at 10 degrees in the same house, in your first house. So the energy of having your rising sign in Taurus is the fact that you like nice things. Okay, um, and it makes you the type of person who makes plans and you work systematically. Like you work based on a system. Okay. Now, Okay, let's keep going on because you have your midheaven. Midheaven is always in house 10 for everybody, okay? Your midheaven is at 22 degrees in Capricorn in your 10th house, okay? The 10th house is all about your career, it's all about what you're known for in the world, okay? And the fact that you have it in Capricorn, that is like such a great sign for you. Um, this makes your career growth gradual and stable, okay? Um, Also, you tend to plan and project things that are ahead of time. Like you are almost like an innovator, okay? You think of things that people haven't even thought about before, okay? Which I think you said you were into IT or computers or something. This that field was really great for you because you have so many signs in your chart that make you very, accurate, methodical. It makes you an innovator. Okay, it makes you very adaptable. It makes you want to invent things and create things. Okay, so that's really great. Now, one thing that is really great in your chart as well, um, Excel, you have the part of fortune in Gemini, which is in your second house, okay? The part of fortune is exact. When I say exact, exactly conjunct, that means that it's at the same degrees as the sun. You have the sun at 23 degrees in Gemini in house 2. You have your part of fortune in Gemini in your house 2 at 23 degrees. That is so awesome. The part of fortune amplifies wherever it is. And the fact that you have the sun there with it, the sun is like amplifying that even more. It makes you uh not have to worry about money at all, okay? You don't have to worry about money. Like you have the part of fortune in the house that deals with finances and material possessions. And on top of that, you have the sun amplifying the part of fortune. The sun is amplifying your finances. You have it going on as far as your finances, okay? So that's really great. So let's keep going. Let's look at, okay, I've done that. Okay, well, go to the next house, the next shot. Okay, this is just a legend of the houses. Just in case, you're wondering, these are the houses where you have planets in them when you were born, okay? We have 12 houses. Sometimes we don't always have planets in each of the houses. So just to let you know that. Now, another thing I do when I look at a chart, I look at the elements to see how much is there a concentration of one element as opposed to another element. And what's interesting in your chart is that you don't have any fire. None of the planets are in fire elements when you were born. Okay? Which fire is the element that brings action to a person. Okay? For you, you have 4 planets in earth signs, you have 4 planets in water signs, and you have 2 planets in air signs. Okay? So, based on this information, you tend to be a down to earth person who's in touch with your emotional side, followed by being a thinker. Now, the fact that you don't have fire, you don't have any of the planets in fire signs, does not denote that you don't take action. Because for you, your action is coming from Uranus. You have Uranus in Virgo. And we know Virgo is the workaholic of the zodiac, okay? So just because you don't have any planets in fire sign doesn't mean that you're not the type of person to take action, okay? This is just saying that you have to look elsewhere in your chart for your energy, okay? All right, or for your action. Now let's look at some aspects. Okay, I'm looking at your chart here to the side. Okay, let's start at the sun squaring Saturn. Okay, so you have in your chart, your sun is squaring Saturn. Okay, now below the um the planets I have listed here, the different houses that these planets are in. Okay, I didn't list the house number. You can go to the houses legend and see that. So the energy of Sun squaring Saturn is that you don't like restrictions. This makes you the type of person who does not like restrictions. And you're not too fond of authority figures either. Okay? You like to be the boss. You don't want to have too much authority over you. Okay? So the fact that it's in your finances area and friendships, you don't like restrictions in your finances or your friendships or your group associations, anything like that. Now let's look at the sun squaring Uranus. Okay, the sun squaring Uranus. Okay, this is an energy that makes you more likely than others to want change. Okay, um, so sometimes this can give you the tendency to do things or exhibit behavior that is like upsetting or surprising to others. That's the sun squaring Uranus, okay? So let's keep going on. Let's look at the moon, your aspects. Now, you have the moon conjunct Venus, which means the moon and Venus are practically side by side. Whenever I say conjunct, they're side by side, okay? Within probably 0 to 8 degrees of one another. Now, the energy of the moon conjunct Venus, this makes you the type of person who likes to socialize, okay? And this aspect makes you radiate warmth, okay? It makes you radiate warmth, and that's why people like to be around you. So that's really great. Now, also you have the moon in a trine to Uranus. A trine is usually good in a chart. The moon trine Uranus. Let me go back to the moon conjunct Venus. Now, the moon is in your house one, and then they're both in your house one. Okay, so that's just perfect for you. That's why people gravitate towards you because of the warmth that you exhibit. Okay. Now, you also have the moon trine Uranus. The moon is in house one, remember? And then Uranus is in house five, dealing with your fun, your creativity, and your kids. Now, the energy of the moon trining Uranus, let me look at your degrees. This is an energy that makes you crave excitement. Okay? So you might like to spend, let's say if you're on vacation, you might want to spend part of the day on the beach, the other part of the day in the mountain. Like um you would gravitate towards doing two different things on a vacation, rather than just laying out on the beach all day. I mean, that's just an example. I'm not saying that, that's exactly what you have done, but and again, this makes you do things that surprise others. Like they weren't really expecting you to do that. But it does make you more likely to advocate for change. The moon trine Uranus. Now, you can look up all of these aspects that I'm talking about. If you want to Google it, you can just Google moon trine Uranus and read all about it. You can Google moon trine Pluto and read all about it. Now, the moon trine Pluto, okay, this makes your feelings intense. Like you don't take anybody's feelings lightly, whether it's your feelings, whether it's someone you know, someone you don't know. You don't take anybody's feelings lightly. Okay? It makes your feelings more intense. Uh, but one thing with this aspect is that sometimes an idea can dominate your mind. So you can almost become like obsessive about thinking about a certain idea. Okay, so let's keep moving on. Let's look at your Mercury aspects. Okay, so you have Mercury in a conjunction to Jupiter. So this is a good energy. This broadens your understanding, and it broadens your communications, okay? Um, it makes you see the bigger picture of things, which is really great because I know you said you were in computers, so you really have to be able to project and think about how is this computer program going to affect whatever. So it helps you to see the bigger picture. It helps you to see patterns. And it helps you with organization as well. It helps you to be an organized person. Excuse me. You are the type of person where you see things that will help someone work more efficiently. So that's really great. Let me just get a drink of water. Okay, I'm back. So we were talking about Mercury conjunct Jupiter. So let's see, what were the degrees? Now, also with this position, Mercury conjunct Jupiter, this because your mental process is so quick and so fast, and you can take in a lot of knowledge at one time. You can process a lot of knowledge at one time. Also, the only downside to this is because you think on such a big scale, you can tend to overlook the small details. Okay. So this is a great aspect to have, but there's always a flip side to something. So with this one, you think on such a grand scale that sometimes you miss the small details of something. Okay, now let's look at Mercury trining Neptune. Okay, so Mercury trining Neptune gives you a very creative imagination. Neptune is known as the dreamy planet. Mercury is known for technology, is known for communications. So Mercury trine Neptune, it gives you a great um, creative imagination. Okay. Um, Now it also makes you genuinely want to help people. Okay. Also, it makes you very in tune to other people. Like you tune into people, like you get in there. You definitely are in tune with people's emotions and their feelings and you like you're in tune with somebody's deep dark feelings. Excuse me. This also makes mystical subjects fascinate you because your mind can go deep into those topics. I mean, you like it. Let's keep going on. Let's look at Venus. Alrighty, let's go on. Okay, here we go, Venus. And I don't want to press exit because I don't know if this is going to exit out of my slide. Anyway, okay, so you have Venus trine Uranus. This makes you want to have something stimulating going on all of the time. Okay, it also makes you like unusual things, even in relationships. And this does bring excitement into your life. So even though you don't have any fire signs, it's almost like Uranus is acting as your fire in your chart. Now, also, let's see, you have Venus in an opposition to Neptune. Opposition means that they are directly across from one another in the chart. So you have Venus in house 1 and you have Neptune in house 7. Now, this, the energy of Venus in Neptune, this gives you um, the tendency to be selfless in relationships. Okay, it's almost like you have an ideal of yourself in relationships. It's almost like you see yourself as the martyr sometimes. The only thing with this is that the relationship can tend to be one-sided. Like you feel like you're giving all the time, you're giving, you're giving, you're giving, and then you get frustrated because the person is not giving the same energy to the relationship as you are, and it can leave you feeling resentful. Okay, it can leave you feeling resentful. So just watch out for that. Now, oh, I'm getting cold in here. I have to put my jacket on, my sweater or something. Also, you have Venus trine Pluto. Okay, This makes your relationships very intense, okay? And to you, love is expressed through your mind, your body, and your emotions. Like, it's not just, oh, being attracted to someone emotionally, or it's not just being attracted to someone physically. You need all three. You need to be attracted to them. You need to like their mind, the way they think. You need to like the way they feel about things. You need to constantly touch them, things of that nature. That's Venus trining Pluto, okay? And look at where it is. You have Venus in house one, dealing with your appearance and your outlook on life. And then you have Pluto in the area of your life, dealing with fun, creativity, kids, and what else? Romance. So, that's how you feel. Now, let's keep going on. Let's look at Mars. Let's see what's going on with the planet of action in your chart. Okay, so you have Mars in a square to Uranus. Whenever you see a square, that means that the planets are 90 degrees away from one another. They form a 90-degree angle. I don't know if this looks like a 90-degree angle to you, but so you have Mars in a square to Uranus. This makes you want to be free of restraints, okay? And look at where they fall. You have Mars dealing with your finances, you have Uranus dealing with fun. You don't want any type of restraints when it comes to your finances and having fun, okay? Um, Also, you like to renew your life, okay? Like, you're the type of person that you totally just do something different, and it's like you just renew yourself. It's like you're not the old person you were before. You're a totally different person. um Also, authority figures can lead you to like revolt, and I know you did mention that you were in some type of black power group or something. I don't know, I forgot what it was. But also, you have Mars squaring Pluto. Now, the energy of Mars squaring Pluto, it gives you high energy. It gives you a high energy level. It also makes you want to get ahead. Okay, so this is another substitute for fire in your chart. Okay, Mars squaring Pluto, it makes you want to get ahead, and you have it in your finances. It makes you want to get finances. It makes you want material possessions. And then Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. So probably in over the course of your life, you've just um, as far as fun, creativity, kids, and romance, you've done away with it all, and then you built it back up. So that's really great. Now let's see what else we have. Oh, let's look at the Uranus aspects. Okay, because you have Uranus conjunct to Pluto, and it's in your area of your life dealing with fun, creativity, and kids and romance. Um, so this is saying that when changes happen in your life, they happen suddenly. Okay. Um, It's not like gradual changes. Oh, I'm going to gradually do X, Y, Z. No. When change happens in your life, it happens suddenly. And you're just like, whoa. I mean, the average person would be like, whoa, but because of your makeup, because you're so adaptable, that's fine with you. Even if you have a problem with it, you get over it. So let's keep going on. Now, I just want to talk about one current transit that's going on. So you have the transiting Jupiter in a conjunction to your natal Neptune, okay? And it's going to be conjunct through the end of October. Um, this makes you want to help people that you feel are oppressed, okay? And it helps your spiritual interest to grow. Um, and it helps you to turn inward more, okay? So, I also want to mention that this new moon that we had, okay, that's the last slide. This new moon, excuse me, This new moon is in Virgo, which is in your fifth house. And that's all about fun, creativity, romance, and kids. So that's something, if you want to concentrate on anything, you can concentrate on any one of those at this new moon. Also, the full moon, which is happening on September 24th, is going to be in Aries in your house 12. So this is a great time for you to release any feelings you have about spirituality that are not serving you. It's a great time for you to release that. But other than that, this has been your astrology interpretation, and it's been a pleasure to do it for you. Okay, there we go. We're back at the beginning. So, give me some feedback. Let me know what you think about this delivery, the way I've delivered it to you, the slides, the presentation, everything, all of that. And I look forward to seeing you at the next event. Take care. This is Dee.